BMW K1200R Cup is up next in the race events. We've gained another 3 bikes to our collection as a result of us winning all 3 Master of Eagles races, and now I must move over to one of these babies, and I really don't know which one to use. I think I'll use the blue one first, and then I'll have a look through my thumbnails of this game to decide which ones to use next. So I am now using the BMW Motorrad K1200R for event 15, the K1200R Cup. Again, it's another single race event. We've got 3 races, and the tracks we are going to are Suzuka Circuit, Deep Forest, and High Speed Ring. And so we begin at Deep Forest Raceway. Let me start over. So we will begin at Suzuka Circuit for 3 laps. And let's get going. I would imagine we're no doubt going to be using separate paint schemes again like we did last time. I'd imagine that's what we'll most likely do. But anyway. Oh, maybe not. We're actually going with the Noah's Ark tactic here, as there are 2 yellows and 2 blues for this event. Anyway, here we go. It is time for 3 laps around Suzuka. I probably should have shifted up into 6th gear. Oh well. Anyway. So we have got 3 laps around Suzuka Circuit for race 1. So let's see how we go, as I'm now heading up the hill into Dunlop and lifting off the throttle just a little bit there as I now head into Dagna 1, and now down the hill into Dagna 2, going a little deep there, but either way we're doing okay, and 6¼ seconds is how far behind I am compared to the leader. No doubt in saying that is an interval I will easily eclipse before the day is done, because that's just how easy these races really are. And lifting off the throttle as we get through the radius, now into Spoon Curve, or Spoon Corner I should say, and onto the Spoon Straight. This is one of very few real-life racetracks that you could often say is a figure-of-8 circuit. That's more or less what you could argue this track essentially is, because it does have a crossover point between the overhead straight and ironically the underhead straight. But either way, I am slowly but surely closing in on the leader. Gap is now 2½ seconds as I hit my top speed of 183, and as a result I go off into the gravel, but I somehow stay up on my high horse. I do manage to keep it under control, and I can definitely say that was a lot less trouble than I thought it was going to be. Although I'm really not surprised to say that I overshot. But either way, doesn't matter because I am closing in on the leader. So, lifting just a little bit there to get through Dunlop. You basically have to do that. And now, heading through Dagna 1 into Dagna 2, and passing him as we head under the Spoon Straight. Gap is now half a second since I have overtaken for the lead. So, it's fair to say that this has been a pretty easy job so far. And so, we go on with our business. So we have another lap to go here at Suzuka, heading through Spoon Corner now and onto the Spoon Straight. And I would say things are going pretty well for now. And just on the brakes as I hit top speed, heading through 130R now. Gap is up to 3.1 seconds. And up to this point, I'd say we're doing alright. As I now head down by the Ferris wheel. Of course, Suzuka is also known for having an amusement park right next to the racetrack itself. Something else that's rather interesting, and I am not so fortunate this time. I hit top speed, but then I basically wound up overshooting the corner anyways and falling off. Well, I figured I wasn't going to get so lucky a second time round. Although, it is a natural thing for motorcycle racers to typically pull up on the bike when they're slowing down. Oftentimes it's normally what tends to happen when you either overshoot the corner or you simply just give the bike itself a wobble. If you have moments like that, then it usually is pretty much very easy to pull up on the bike. And heading through the chicane now as I head through the radius, and with just a few corners to go now, heading through Spoon Corner once again, and it looks like this is pretty much my race to lose. So on the Spoon Straight now, heading under a few sponsor banners whilst I'm at it, and heading through 130R now for the third and last time, and up to the chicane. Gap is now 7.1 seconds, and everything seems to be okay. And there we go. Even though I didn't really set any hot laps because I kept overshooting turn 1. But whatever. Point is, I still win. And I win quite comfortably as well. And now, I will be right back. So those are your results from race 1. I win in the end by 7.5 seconds over the first yellow K1200R. The second K1200R in yellow was third, and the other blue K1200R was fourth and last. Okay, let's now move on to race 2. And before we continue, I might as well check through one of my previous video files to see just what fucking replay it was I saved before. And we got another helmet. Don't really give a shit about the riding gear. And for winning, we get the Z1000 S1 from 1982. And as ever, I continue to use my racing number. I'm pretty sure there is a road bike version of this bike that I had before, but either way, here it is. Kawasaki Z1000 S1 for winning race 1. And now, before we move on to race 2, I will have to check and see just what bike it was that I had with the K1200R and the thumbnail before. So, I'll be RB. I have just checked through my prior thumbnail regarding which replay it was I saved, and it was the replay with the orange colour scheme that I saved from the challenge mode. And yes, I do know the colour is orange. Not yellow, it is orange. I want to be very clear that I do know. The colour scheme I saved before, it was with the orange colour scheme, not the yellow colour scheme. Anyway, let's now get through our next race at Deep Forest Raceway, and where I'm pretty sure these last two races will no doubt go by quickly. So, let's get through them. So, we have Deep Forest and we have High Speed Ring. Next up is Deep Forest, and I pretty much know what I'm going to be up against. I don't think it really matters all that much to me that we're pretty much all riding the same bike, and a majority of us are riding the, I think it's the red livery, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely not pink. Or it could be maroon, but either way, it's fine because, well, I have a feeling this is going to be another pretty easy win for me. As I head through the first hairpin, and now heading up through this sequence of corners right before the first tunnel. And 6 seconds is the gap. I didn't want to think that I was trying to pull off the move willy-nilly. I basically just decided to back off and just let the maneuver itself come to me, and as a result, I think I did okay in the end. And I've gone too deep. But at least I managed to hold my ground. So, doing okay for now. And up into the last left-hander. And 2.6 seconds is the gap to the leader. Everything seems to be okay for now. And right now, I'd say we're doing okay. As I try to look for a move on the outside, but I make sure to, and I don't want to pull off an overtake by making contact, because I know that in a bike's world, that is not the way to do it. I also know that if that happened in real life, I would have most likely caused both of us to wreck. And in all honesty, I really don't want that black eye to be on my... I really don't want that black-eyed maneuver to be on my mind, where I basically cheated to pull off the pass. I was not prepared to accept that. And the gap is now 2.1 seconds. So, I'd say we're doing okay for now. And looks as though this is going to be a relatively easy win from what I can see. And heading through the first tunnel again, and through the right-hander. 4.4 seconds is the interval from first to second. And this time, I'd say we're doing okay. And now heading through the third tunnel and the fourth tunnel, and heading through this left-hander. 6.2 seconds is now the interval, and I almost lose control of the bike, but I just managed to pull up in time. And there we go, clean sweep of the K1200R Cup. And 6.3 seconds the interval in the end. 9.8 seconds to third and 12 seconds to fourth. 3 out of 4 of us in that race were riding in red. Isn't that crazy to consider? Because I certainly think that's crazy to consider. But anyway, there we go. 2 races down and still 1 race to go. In the BMW K1200R Cup. As all we have left is high-speed ring. And I know precisely what bike it is I will be using. So, for winning race 2, we get another helmet, and as for the bike we get the MV Augusta F4 1000S. And I'm basically just going to do that. Stylish font, if I do say so myself. I actually don't mind that font, personally. But anyway, there it is. Alright, 2 races down, 1 race to go. Let's now switch over to our third BMW K1200. Because why the hell not? It's this one. The yellow K1200R. Oh, I did that by accident. Anyway. I've used 35 bikes up to this point in the game. That's ironic. Even though I ultimately have not used, quite simply, 200 of these bikes yet. Anyway, let's now get through High Speed Ring, and then we will be done. I will also have to check and see what bike it was I won from the first race, because, well, since I was so distracted from what happened in the middle of race 1, when, for want of a better phrase, my door was open. Because, well, believe it or not, I have a cat who likes sleeping on the bed that is above my head. And in order for that cat to basically get in and out of my room, I do care for the cat, by the way, just to be clear. I basically have to leave my door partially open so she can get up and get out. But anyway, 2.78 seconds is the gap to the leader as we head through the final hairpin. It's a long right-hander. I'm probably going to hit the speed limiter a few times, but either way it doesn't matter because, well, I still feel like I'm in control. Even though I very nearly lost control there, but whatever. It doesn't matter because I am still very much in the thick of it. And just like that, I briefly take over the lead and hand it back over to the guy ahead of me. Unfortunately, there are no driver names, so basically I just refer to them either by what models they're riding or just by what colour schemes they're riding. And well, because everyone else is riding with the orange stripes, it's not really too hard to tell which one of us is riding the standalone bike, because, well, as you might have guessed, the person riding the standalone bike is, of course, me. That could have been a huge accident, but I somehow held on, in spite of me hitting the outside wall. But either way, heading into this S-bend now, as I head under the ENEOS sponsor board, and into the tunnel now for the third and final time. I would anticipate this race is going to be a bit closer, and it is, because I'll probably win this race in the end by only 3 seconds if I get to the end, maybe 4 seconds. But either way, off the final corner, and there we go. Easy win at high speed ring, and also a clean sweep. 3.5 seconds in the end over the first orange BMW. The second orange BMW was third, and the third orange BMW finished in fourth. And I'm pretty sure I do have a replay saved. And right before we continue, I have to check and see what bike it was that I won from the first race. So once again, I'll be right back. I have now found out what bike it was I won from race 1. It was the Kawasaki Z1000 S1. And in all honesty, I did have it somewhere in my head, but I chose not to think about it because it was just easier for me to look since I am more of a visual learner, but anyway, here's what we win. The Yamaha MT-01 Racing Modify from 2005. I'm pretty sure this bike is also one of the heavyweights if I'm not mistaken. But either way, that's what we get. The Yamaha MT-01. Cool. Okay, moving on. And we don't get any more helmets. I'm not surprised. Anyway, another clean sweep of a single race event. And next up will be the Monster Series, which, believe it or not, this bike is actually eligible for. But I'll have a look, and wow, there's a lot of bikes we can use for this one, including the BMW. I'm obviously not going to use the BMW. But anyway, might as well have a look at what races we're heading to. So, got Tokyo, Seoul Central, Suzuka Circuit, Apricot Hill, and Trial Mountain. I will decide on what bike to use before our next championship. So anyway, another clean sweep of single race events. And now, let's have a look at the bikes we won. Starting off with the Kawasaki Z1000 S1. Already said the year, don't need to say it again. And I gotta say, this thing actually doesn't look too bad. Actually, don't I have a road car model? Sorry, a road bike model of this thing? I have a feeling I do somewhere. I'll have a look. Okay, so just got the Z1000. Oh, the Z1000R1. Okay, that's what that is. Yeah, I thought there was some sort of connection between the two. I just didn't know what it was. Anyway, that's what we get from winning race 1. From winning race 2... Oh, fuck me. I suddenly forgot what bike it was. Oh yeah, it just got back to me. We win the MV Augusta F4 1000S Racing Modify, and this thing has got a lot of power, if I do say so myself. But either way, here it is. For winning race 2, and for winning the third race, once I can find Yamaha, we win the MT-01 racing bike, wherever the hell that is. I will find it, because I saw it once before. It's in here somewhere. I know I had it. Let's see. Should be in here somewhere. Because I saw it. Ah, here it is. The MT-01 Racing Modified. And this thing, to put it simply, is heavy. And I mean really heavy. Heavy as in the displacement is nearly 1700cc. But either way, there we go. That's pretty much all of them. And now, let's go and have a look at our progress. As we have now passed 80%. So we gained a total of... I think we were on 78.1% before. So we've gained another 2.3%, I think. If I recall correctly. I'll have to check to be sure. But anyway. That'll do it for this episode, and I will see you all in the next episode for the Monster series.